Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking a class on data cleaning in Microsoft Power BI. Data cleaning is one of the most difficult yet important aspects of your data analysis work. The reason is not far-fetched. Bad data gets you bad analysis. Hence, you want to clean your data before you commence your analysis. Without wasting most of our time, let's get started. So this is a Titanic data set. If you hear Titanic, what first comes to your mind?
The ship.
Yeah, the ship. I mean, it's a very famous story. So this is like the manifest of that ship, like the information of the people inside there.
Everybody.
Understand? So thank God you are familiar with Excel. So if I do a control shift down, I just want to go to the last row of the data. So we have like 891 passengers inside the ship. So I always tell people, if you are doing any data analysis work from my 6 years of experience, it is extremely important that you first and foremost understand the data before you even say you want to do any analysis. Know the data column by column, if possible row by row, and the values inside of it. Understand? So in fact, you can spend like, I don't mind. So I've been in an interview, a technical interview, because you're going to come across it, except you don't want to, go for data analysis. Whereby I was able to finish even before the allotted time. But some of the questions, because I didn't understand the data very well, I selected the wrong column.
Yeah.
You understand? So it was when I was done and I realized that, oh, I'm not supposed to see this. You understand? And I mean, I will have spent a quite number of time understand the data very well before I start the analysis. So you can see this is the name of the table, Titanic. You understand? On the top left. So now the first column here is the passenger ID. So today we are going to deal with data cleaning in Power BI, because that's like the most important thing. Once you clean data, the visualization and all of that, there's nothing really much in there. You understand? So it's data clean that people don't really like. And if you have a bad data, you're going to have a bad analysis. So there's what I used to say that see your time, if you're in real data analysis work or space, you spend 60 to 70% of your time cleaning data. Except if you are using an auto system whereby the chance of error is little to nothing. Maybe there's no human interference. Even at that, there's still be time that you need to remove certain computer or system generated error. So that's where the data cleaning comes in. So that's why we're starting with data cleaning in Power BI. And what I'm on now is for you to understand the data. So the first is passenger ID. Each row is for a passenger, and they have their own ID. So you can easily say passenger ID 6. His name is Morgan James. He's a male. Passenger ID 10. The name is Nasia, female, is 14 years, etc. You understand? So the second column is the class. So in which class did the passenger belong to? By class, we mean passenger class. First class, second class, third class. So if you click on this filter button, you will see all the values. So we don't have more than 3 classes here. You understand? So this is the name of the passenger. You can see all the 891 passengers, that's their name. So this is the sex column. 2 formation. It's either you're male or you're a female, nothing more, nothing less. So age, you can see that the lowest number here or the lowest age is 42, while the highest is while the highest age is, just scroll down, is 80. So you know that there's nobody that is more than 80 years from the data. So if you are doing analysis, you come across those kind of age, that means it's not. So SIP-SP means siblings or spouse that is struggling with the passenger but excluding the passenger. Say, for instance, you are going along with your brother or your sister or your fiancé, your wife. So their number is what they mean. For this guy now, this is like 4 SIP-SP, probably 2 brother, 2 sister, or whatever. So part means parents and children. This guy now is probably going with maybe his or her 2 parents, probably her 2 parents because she's a female, or 1 parent or 1 child, or just 2 child, right? So this is tickets that they paid Fare, the amounts that they pay to join the ship. Cabin at the south, embark. So if I click on this filter button, I can see we have mainly 3 cities here. This other one is blank. Maybe these people did not feed their, city information. You understand? So Southampton, Cherbourg, and Queenstown. These are like, cities in the UK, I guess. Then the last column is survived. So if I click on the filter button, we have 2 values, 0 and 1. 0 means that the passenger died, while 1 means that the passenger survived. For instance, passenger ID 1 perished. He died. While 2, 3, 4 survived. The next 4 passengers, they died inside the ship. So that's like the understanding of the data set. Do you think that this data set is clear to you? Can we proceed?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So let's even go to something that will even help us more. I'll have the second sheet here. That's the explanation of the column. So there's something called metadata, data about the data. You understand? So, or we also call it data dictionary. Although not all data sets will give, in fact, very few will give you this information, but this is for this training purpose, to know why it is very important to understand the data very well before you start. It may not be your company data, of course. We expect you to understand your company data, but what is an external data? So this is the column here. You can see passenger and also the data type, which are extremely important. If you mess up the data type, the analysis will likely be messed up. But if you're having a wrong data type, you just see that something is not working. That's happened to me several times. So passenger ID is an O number. So we have different data types. We have O number, we have text, decimal, we have Boolean, is in my first class. Then we have geographic data and dates. We have date and time too. You understand? So these are the data type which you can change inside of Power BI also. So survive is O number, which is these are the values inside them, like I showed you from the filter button Excel. So this is the P class, which is O number. These are the 3 values in there, and these are the explanation. Name is a text. Sex is also a text with 2 values, male and female. You understand? Then CSP, you can see number of siblings, either brother or sister, traveling with the passenger, but excluding him. Patch, parents and children. Fare is decimal greater than 0. That, of course, you have to pay money. The value of Great Britain pounds of 1912. That's more than 100 years ago. So that's the cabin is text and any. Embark is also a text. So we have 3 values there. S is Southampton, Q is Queenstown, and C is Cherbourg. So this is like the understanding. This give you more information about particular data so that you can know what and what you are going to be dealing with. So if I ask you now, what are the information or insight you think you can derive from this data set?
That you can get there.
Yes, so I gave this
Those
data
that
set now.
survive.
Yes, those that survived. Very good one.
And people that lost their life.
Yeah, people that lost their life.
And you also get their sex,
The sex.
the age,
Yeah.
because it's on the data
Yeah.
set.
Yeah.
So
The class that has probably highest number of survival and highest
the
number of
class
deaths, and maybe the gender that survived the most, is it
survive
male that
most.
survivors? So there are a lot of things. So I used to teach, and I teach Power BI or any other tool with AI. So if you are struggling with getting the right insights, you can actually use AI to help you out. ChatGPT. So you just copy the column header. You just do little prompt engineering. So I don't know if you understand prompt engineering or if you have done it on prompt engineering, which is to refine the ChatGPT to give you a better result. I have a
Okay, let
course
me
on that, and I think I will share you. So there's something they call RaySef. So RaySef is like an acronym for prompt engineering in ChatGPT. So you give him a role. For instance, you are a professional data analyst, you are a web designer, you are a whatever. A is action. Kindly analyze this data set for me. Kindly summarize this data. Kindly do whatever you want to do. Then C is context. This data is gotten from a company that is in the building industry or in the whatever you are given a context so that he can know how he's going to refine it. E is example. You can give me example. For instance, you are looking at a particular department in a telecommunication, company. Then F format, kindly produce this thing in a table, kindly produce it in a list, kindly produce it in, you understand? So those are the something. So now I just quickly run this. I'm not going to do much of prompt engineering, professional, data analyst. Just say kindly suggest insights that can be derived from these data sets. You understand? Then I've copied, the column header. So you just come here and paste it. You understand? And click on enter. So ultimately, so you can see, just like what you said earlier, survival rate. So how many people survive, how many people that you can see survival by class. That is first class, second class, third class. Time president who survive and who die. By gender, by age group, by embarkation points. You understand? So a lot of them, passenger demography, fare analysis, nice ones. And they even tell you the visualization and statistical techniques to use. Bar charts, histogram, pie charts. So you always want to know how to use ChatGPT, AI, and no prompt engineering to get the best output. So now, based on what you said and what ChatGPT told us about the survival rate, so that's like one of the first things that you think of to get from that data set. So I've opened the data set now. I've opened to see all the columns. So I want to ask you, we want to know who died and who survived. So what are the two columns that you think that we are going to select the survive and the passenger ID? You understand? So if I select, so whatever you select from this column, Power BI will, suggest a visual that it thought is the best. So this is a clustered column chart. You can see this is the chart here. So I click on it now. It's a clustered column chart. You understand? So, but however, look at what is giving us here. So this count of passenger is 91, which is correct. This is the sum of people that survived, 342. What about the people that died? We did not have the information. I said we want to be and subtracting 891, which doesn't make any sense anyway. You understand? So what is happening here is that if you recall, 0 is for people that died. At least that's how they code it. People that collected the data. While 1 is people that survived. Is that not? Is that what it told us?
Yeah.
So what is happening here is that Power BI can only perform operation or calculation based on 1, all the 1 is able to sum it up to not arrive at 342. But the people that died, there's no way you can perform any arithmetic operation on 0. I mean, 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. So we can't get anything out of this. So what we need to do is to transform the data from being an integer, for anytime I mention integer, that is quantitative variable, numbers, to a text, which is a qualitative variable. So what I'm going to do is we're going to change 0 and 1 to die and survive or alive, so that Power BI can perform arithmetic operation like counts, sum, average, minimum, blah, blah, blah. That is what we are going to do. If not, there's no way we will know people that die because they are decoded as 0 and they can't do anything on zeros.
Yeah.
You understand? So that is one of the reasons why we are going to transform the data. So another one is that, okay, let's say you want to look at ChatGPT also say passenger by class. So if you click on passenger ID, then the passenger class, you also see that it's just shooting, of which we needed 3 things. let's say this could be like, first class, maybe second class, and maybe third class. Understand? This is what we are expecting, but this is what it was. Same thing. What it just did, it just sum all the numbers 1, 2, 3, and I have a 2, 4, 5, 7, and the count of passenger is 891. So we also need to change that one from being an integer to a text, so that it can do the normal operation. So among other things, including the, what's it called? The embark. So you don't want to be telling people that S is Southampton. S could be, anything. C could mean Charlton. S could mean Sunderland. Q could mean anything. So you want to put the full information. Your report should be very unambiguous. Anybody looking at it would have no question at all to ask. You understand? So these are the reasons why we are going to, clean or transform the data. So if you want to do that, we are going to go to Power Query Editor. That's the engine responsible for cleaning and transformation. So you can get that from the ribbon here. You can see transform data. So I'm going to click on this transform data. So it will open another page or interface for us. You can see now. So you can see here on at the left-hand side, Power Query Editor. So all the data that you ingested in Power BI Desktop, they will appear on the left-hand side here as queries. You can see just two, this guy and this guy. So now I tell people, consider Power Query Editor as a very large kitchen whereby you can prepare any kind of meal in this world. You are just entering there and just mixing, grinding things together to do whatever it is that you want to do. So all the tools, all the utensils, everything is there for you. You understand? So we are going to, this data that we want to use or clean or transform. I'm going to select Titanic. You understand? So we now have Titanic now to do anything you want to do with it. So first thing you also want to do, I took the professional examination this January. So a lot of questions actually came out from Power Query Editor. And I understand why Microsoft did that, because like I said earlier, if you have bad data, you're going to have bad analysis. So there's no point in building visual with bad data. So this is actually where the work is. You understand? So you want to do some quality tests first before you embark on the work. You understand? So now let's assume you have like maybe 400, 500,000 data. You want to know if each and every one of the column, they have the right or the actual data and there are no missing values inside there. So if you remember in the Excel data, they told us something here that's where is our distance? Okay, they told us something here that notes that some column like age and back have missing value. And once you are working on any data set and your missing value are like 5% and above, you want to find something. If the data is large, you can choose to ignore it, like remove them, but if it's going to affect your work, you need to find a way to replace them. So you need to first check for missing values first. You understand? So that's what we are going to do among other things. So there are a lot of questions that came out from this, data quality that I'm about to show you. So you just click on the view here. So these are the Power Query tab. Okay, so just click on the view. From the view here, you see a lot of options here. So we are going to focus on the column quality, column profile, and column distribution. So again, I'm very sure you are going to meet a lot of questions from these three things. Very sure of that. So what column quality does? So once I tick column quality, you can see what happens. It's showing us the valid, error, and empty values in all the columns in our data sets. Right? So because there is no way we'll be scrolling down to know, okay, how many are valid, how many are no. So what error? Valid means that, okay, there's a correct data set there. 100%. Error means that there is a data type mismatch. What I mean is that if this is an integer data set, numbers, and in a way you go and find text there, let's say somebody go and write 10 here instead of this 10, that is an error. And you don't want that to happen. So you need to find a way to clean it to be 10, to be 1, 0. Why empty mean that there's nothing at all? There are some rows don't have any values, like the H column. So this column is okay now. There's no issue with this column. This one too is very okay. Very okay, 100% valid. Sex, 100%. But look at age now. You can see that age has 20% empty, which is like 177 passengers do not provide their age information. Okay, so we're going to find a way to, clear the null value. So if I click on, so these are filter button automatic. So if I untick everything and click on the null, you can see these are the null information. A lot of them. Okay, so I'm going to unfilter it. So this is CSP, that one is correct, 100%, part, 100%, tickets, 100%. So you can see cabin now. Cabin has like 77% empty, 23% value. Although there's a reason for this, which I'm going to explain later. You understand? Then embark, you can see embark has less than 1% empty. You understand? And I think those are like 2 people or so. So this can be easily ignored. You understand? So is that what?
People that miss the
I think these people did not
embark at all.
No, they embarked, but they did not. The where they embarked from was not captured. It could even be some part of the crew of the ship itself. I'm not sure, but it's just showing us that they didn't embark. So if I click on the null now, you can see that there are 2 people. So you can get their information. The 2 of them are female, 38 and 62. In fact, they are not with anybody. So it's possible. Did they pay? That's very where is that first? Yeah, I think they pay 80 pounds. Yeah. So they did not, we don't know where they joined the ship from. Okay, so that's what column quality is all about. Then you can know, okay, my columns are good, this is the column I need to fix, etc. The second one is column distribution. Now, this one is giving you 2 information, distinct and unique. So most people use these terms interchangeably. I think I've been to some interview that I came across the difference between, they're actually different, but trust me, most people use them, like, take them as the same thing. Even if you check online, you say that you get that information. So distinct values are values that appears more than once, but are only treated once. I will explain to you. Why unique values are the values that appears only once. For instance, now look at this survive. Now we have 2 values there, 0 and 1, 0 and 1, and they are repeated more than once. However, we just need to select one out of them. 0 appear like probably like 500 and something times. We are going to pick 1. 1 appear like 300 and something times. We are going to pick 1. So you can see that there's no unique. That means none of them appeared just once. Understand? So you can see distinct, S, C, Q, and null, 4 distinct. Understand? So let me show you. So this unique now, you can see 891 unique. That means you can see 1 did not appear in any other place again. 2 did not appear in the other. But we still have 891 distinct too. But that's a good explanation of unique. So 1 did not appear any other place again. 5 did not appear any other. They only appeared once. Understand? So you can see, of course, name has to be unique. No 2 people have the same name here. You understand? So you can't be Mrs. that way. So that is the difference between distinct and unique. Then the last one is column profile. So column profile gives us more information, like more statistics about each of the column. Now, so for this one now, you need to select the column to get more information. I was asked about this question that, okay, which of this week that you need to select the column before you actually get information about the column. The other ones will go across board. You understand? Why this one? You need to select. You understand? So for age now, you can see now this is a value distribution. It's saying that people that are like the most in that ship are people that are 24 years of age. There are like 30 of them, 3%, followed by people that are 22 years, 18 years. So 22, 24, and 18, they're like majority inside that ship. You understand? Then by the left-hand side, it gives us more information about the statistics of that age column. Counts error, there is no error, empty 177, just like what column quality showed us. Distinct is 89, unique. That means there's some 16 people that they only have that age. At least the one I know is that that's 0.42. Of course, probably that's just one baby there. Okay, these are like babies anyway, but I know that this particular person, I'm not sure there are two people that are of this age. So if you click this one now, you can see that it's just one person. Okay, so let me undo it here. So that is what, column profile is all about. It gives us more information. Like you can see that the minimum number or the minimum age is 0.42. The maximum age is 80 or maximum number, while the average age is 29.6, and this is standard deviation. So a good statistics there. So now, based on a lot of literature, it is advisable, although it's not a one-size-fits-all, that if you have a column that has missing value, and you can't get the missing value, it is okay for you to use average age, sorry, average number of that column. Few of them said you can use mode, and in data science, there are some techniques like k-nearest neighbor, and a couple of them. Well, I'm not sure they're still accurate, but just not to leave the column with missing values. So here now we are going to replace all the null inside of age with the average age, which is 29.6, that the column statistics gave us from the column profile. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do, in this transformation. So to replace a value in a column, just click on that value like I did now. Not right click, you will see replace. Click on replace, then there's a replace value wizard that will appear. So you just type 29.6. Then click on OK. So it will replace all the null value with 29.6. If you click the filter button now, you see that there are no null values again. So we have done that. So the next thing we are going to do now, which is the main work now, is on this survive that we want to know. So we want to have another column that will feed on this survive column. 0 should be died, 1 should be survived. That's what we want to do. So there is a feature that will help us to achieve that. And the feature is in the add column tab. So you click on this add column beside the view. It's called conditional column. Now, this feature is extremely powerful. Although what we want to use it to do is just the basic thing. Maybe in our next class, I will also show you how we can achieve it with something bigger. So it's like if you use if function very well in Excel, it's like the if function, but more powerful, and you don't need to write any formula or code or whatever. There's an engine that is doing that for you at the back end. So that is why most of us like this, we prefer to use Power BI by Excel. You understand? So I'm going to click on the conditional column. It will open the add column wizard for me. So the first thing to do is to create a new column name, and I'm going to call it status. You can give it any name that you want. So now this is the something now. So this is the condition. If what? All your columns are going to be here. We are selecting the survive column, and that's what we want to transform. Yeah, so this is the survive column below. So now this is the operator. Depending on the solution that you want to prefer or the problem at hand, will determine which operator you are going to use. So if I click on the drop down, and there are a lot of operators there, you understand? So for this issue that is at hand here, we are looking at the equals to operator. So that if the value in the survive column is a particular value, then give me this output. So what are the values in that column? We are working on the survive column now. So there are some values in the survive column. There are some 0 and 1, correct. Yeah. So I'm going to first go with 0 first. So what I want to do is that if the survive column is equals to 0, so what should be the output? What happened to the passenger?
Died now.
Yes, it died, just like died. Then you add another clause again. You click on the survive, that's what we are working on. The operation here is equals to. So what's the next value?
1.
Yes. What happened to the, if it is survived. 1? Survive, or let's say alive.
Alive.
You understand? So if you add more values, you just keep adding add clause. And you can always change them to fit your taste. So it's also good if you want to just like the grading system that we have now. I know those days in university, our examination officer used to write a lot of columns and a lot of formulas and all of that. But with Power BI, you don't need to write too many formulas. So if anybody's got 70 and above, that is A. So what I'm going to select is greater than or equal to, then you type 70, then you put A. 60 to 69, B. 50 to 59, C. 40 to 49, D. Less than 39, F. So in like seconds, you have already defined it, and it will just run all those outputs for you. You understand? So, but we only have 2 values here, so I'm going to remove this guy. But that's actually how to do it. Another thing I also used to do, like, when they give me data and they want us to populate, although there's not AI that can do that anyway, then they want us to populate the region. The data only have states in Nigeria. So Lagos now, of course, is Southwest. So I'll just write this condition column. If the state is equal to Lagos, that is Southwest. If the state is Enugu, Southeast. If the state is Kaduna, Northwest, and so on and so forth, and to just pull everything down. So there's another one I did for somebody based on kilometer cover. Is a logistic company. So they want to know which bank did people come to hire their truck for the most. You understand? So the kilometer range from like 0 to like, let's say 5,000 kilometer. You understand? So they don't want to have different bands, like 0 to 50. And the data set is like almost 100,000 rows for a period of like 5 years. So they have 0 to 50 kilometer, 50 kilometer to 200 kilometer, 200 to 500 kilometer, 500 to 1,000 kilometer, then 1,000 and above. Like, I think like 5 or 6 bands. So it's not left for me to now say, okay, if the kilometer column is greater than or equals to 1,000, then put above 1,000 kilometer. If it is greater than or equals to 500, put 500 to 1,000. If it is greater than or equals to 200, put 200 to 500. So what is happening that is always respecting the first rule or the first condition. We go into the data, look for anything that looks like this, give this output. Go to the second condition, run it, zoom, 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 give it the output. Go to the, so it respect the hierarchy that you give it. You understand? So that's what this one is used for. So I'm just going to, for this one now, we only have 2. I'm just going to click on OK. So you can see that we now have our data, we now have our new column called status. So this is the formula that is going on the back end. So if the conditions are many, it will write all the conditions for us by itself, like at the back end, and we don't need to worry about that. Okay. So you also, but what you need to worry about is the data type. You can see that all these are correct. 0 is died, 1 alive, 0 died, etc. So, but the final thing that you need to do, if you create a new column, the Power BI will not know what data type we need to give it. And that's why I always emphasize on data type. You can see the data type are always by the side of the column name. So this is a whole number. This is a text, this is a decimal. You understand? So, but this one is doing ABC 1, 2, 3. So the guy is not sure which data type we want to use for this new column. So you need to click on that. Then these are the data type that's available in Power BI. I see all of them. It is now left for you to now choose, okay, this is a text data. So you cannot put it as text. Okay, so we have been able to fix that. So with this now, we can know how many people died and how many people survived. So another thing we also want to do, I'm going to run through all these features, what they are used for. So the index column is used basically to create serial number. I didn't mean they did not give us this particular column. And IDs are extremely important. Most people don't take note, maybe because they are not data analysts anyway. You always want to have ID, like each row should have a unique ID. You understand? So you can use index column to create an ID. So if I just click on this drop down here, you can see you can create from 0 from 1 to generate a new index for me. Then this one is just to duplicate it. So there will be times that you don't want to tamper with the existing column. Maybe you want to do some experiments on the column, so you can duplicate it. So for instance, now I can say this index column, I can duplicate it. Then I'm going to work on it. Maybe I want to multiply something, or maybe I want to subtract, or I want to add.
Sorry, just click on the index and it's
yeah. Once I click on the index and I click on duplicate column.
Okay.
So let's say I want to add like 20, or I want to multiply everything here by 10. So I can just come to standard here. I'll just say multiply all the values here by, let's say 10 or whatever number. I'm going to click on OK. Understand? So you're still going to create another one again. So you can now get rid of this. Understand? So that's what the duplicate column does. So the column from example now, the column from example is more like an AI kind of function inside of Power BI. So what is AI? AI is just basically training a particular data set or training an algorithm with a data set so that in the future, the algorithm can do the things that you have trained it on without you necessarily programming it. In a nutshell, that's what AI is all about. You understand? So what we want to use this column from example to is to take care of this P class. So we are going to train like the values there, and we expect it to do the other things for the remaining values. So you have selected the P class, then click on column from example, then you click on from selection. It will create a new column for us, which is this guy here. So what we are going to do is just, so I want to train him on repeating what value I give the values inside here. So for this 3 now, I'm going to say anywhere you see 3, yeah, put third class. I'm going to type third class. That's the first training. This is next one is 1. Anywhere you see 1, I'm double clicking to type, put first class. Okay, so you can see that it has auto-filled everything. So there's something that's missing. This is null. It's null because it doesn't know what to do anytime it sees 2. So I'm going to say, okay, don't worry. Anywhere you see 2, put second class. And I already know all the values inside there. It's just 1, 2, 3. So I'm sure that, okay, I'm going to fill up all these columns. So I'm going to click on OK. So you can see that that's fill up all the listing. So I don't necessarily need that first column again. So I can just double click on the column header and type. You can see the formula on top. Yeah, we don't care about the formula.
Yeah.
And you can always edit. So I'm going to say passenger class. That's the name of the main column. So I can press and hold, then drag it to the side of the first one, the original, P class that we have on the data sets. Just press and hold and drag to your left or wherever you are taking it. I can drag to the beginning or end too. So I'm going to drop it here. So I can now come here, right click and remove this because I don't need it again. So always remove the columns that you don't need, because anytime you refresh, it's running through all the columns, and that might take a lot of processing capacity or processing time. So I'm going to remove this. Yeah, so that's done. So next thing we want to do again is that, so let's go and replace the embark. We don't want to see SCQ. Just, right click, replace value. So we know that our S is Southampton. Hope I got it right.
Yeah.
Then right click on C, step up. Then Q, right click, replace point star. Yeah, so everybody can know what is going on. Yeah, so that's that. So another thing I also want to clean is look at this particular name now. It's not really nice. We are supposed to have like 3 columns here. The first name, the last name, and the title. You understand? So we call from the Excel sheet here, from the summary or the comment sheet, it says name is in this format. The last name comes first, followed by the title, followed by the first name, and extra rows for married women. So we want to have this guy in separate column, and separate column. So we want to fork out 3 columns from a single column. So if you are familiar with Excel very well, it is text to column that will handle that for you. And that normally takes some time. But with this now, I don't think you're going to spend much time. So select the particular column, go to your transform tab, then you will see split column. So this is an extremely powerful, feature. So if you are doing data cleaning, there's no way you are going to escape. Like, you always use this feature. I use it a lot because even it's an ERP, there will always be this character, computer generated character that is not always needed. And it's mostly across board. You understand? So you can use this split column. So if I click this split, so these are different ways you can split your column. This by delimiter is also in Excel, and maybe by width. That's the 2 things in Excel. But this one you have like 7 to 8 different functions. But the most common one is the by delimiter. So I'm going to click on by delimiter. I'm going to double click. So you can see that it automatically identifies the delimiting character, the first delimiting character, which is actually comma. If you look at it very well, you see that after the last name, there's a comma for all the names. So you just click OK. So we now have this now. So just double click and rename last name. You understand? So look at the other ones too now. The same thing. So if you don't want to go to the tab, you can also right click by after you selected the column, you right click, you will see split column. You can see the same thing. So what are all the things in the ribbon are also present when you right click. So I'm going to click on split column also by delimiter. So it also automatically determine the delimiting character. If it doesn't, you can type anything that you want here. You understand? That you create is the delimiting character, but 90% of the time, it always gets it right if it's uniform across the data set. So I'm going to click on OK also. So you can see now, so you can remove all the title too. So we now have, the last name, the title, and the first name. So you just rename them one after the other. You understand? Then you can drag it to anyhow. You can drag the first name to be the first one. Then maybe the title should come first, whichever way you want it. So with this now, the information you can also get from here, if you go to the view now and click on column profile, so you will see that without building the visual, people, they by title, Mr. at the highest in the shape, followed by Miss, unmarried female, married female, these are a young male. So as I said, there are doctors in the shape, reverend, major, and different category of people inside them. Okay, so that is, that. So other thing that we can also do now, look at this. I told you that we're going to take care of. We stop at, so we want to look at custom column. So we have done conditional column, we have done index column, we have done duplicate column from example. Now, custom column is used to add 2 or more columns together, either integer columns or text column. You understand? So now, what we want to use it to do here is that we want to add the families together. So you recall that we have SIP-SP, siblings and spouse, column.
Yeah.
Then we have patch, parent and children. So we want to know how many are they together as a family. So for passenger ID 1 now, we know that it's only him and 1 SIP-SP. So together as a family, they are like 2.
Yeah.
So for passenger ID 14 now, so the guy is a male, the guy has 5 parts, maybe 3 kids and 2 parents, and SIP-SP, maybe 1 brother or 1 sister, or maybe the wife, probably the wife. You understand? So this now 5 plus 1 plus himself, so that means they are 7. So we want to have another column, by the side, name it family, and add them up. So we're going to use custom column. It's also a very powerful, feature. So the first thing I want to do is to just rename my column as family. So you just write a very simple formula here. So all the available columns will be here. So you just select the column that you want to add together. So I'm going to say SIP-SP, you understand, plus, minus, multiply, addition, everything is available here. But here we are doing plus. Patch. So if it's just 2 columns that you just want to add, you just say okay. If it is 3 columns, you just continue typing it with whatever column. So just 2 columns, then plus the passenger himself or herself. We can't click on passenger name because name is not an integer. Name is a text, but we are certain that is 1 person. You understand? So I'm going to say plus 1. Okay, so we are done with this formula. You can see that it's no syntax error detected. So I'm going to click on OK. So you see now we now have a new column called family. So if you cross check now, where is that 14? Yeah, passenger ID 14. You can see that there are 7 passengers, 5 plus 1 plus 1. So this is correct. So don't forget also again, you can see we need to change the data type to whole number. So that's actually, you can't put it to decimal because you can't have 2.5 or 3.5 family. So that's how we get that. So that's how to do custom column. So if that's to use it for integer column, you want to use it for text column, like join 2 columns that text together. So in Excel, you can use the concatenation or the ampersand function. You understand? So those are like, yeah, the functions. Concatenate function or the ampersand feature. So here we are going to click
Power
on
BI.
No, in Excel.
In Excel.
In Excel, just say concatenate this column and this column, just join them together. So in Power BI now, we can use custom column. So just double click to open it up. So now let's assume that if we just want to add up, we just want to join the name and the sex column, like Brown Harris, male. when whatever female. So inside a single column. So you just come here, select, so you select the first name equals to first name. So now we are going to use the ampersand. Just type the ampersand on your laptop. So if it's just two columns without space, then you just select the other column. You understand? Let's say like sex, then you are good. This one is not going to give you, you just join them together. But if you want to add space, you need to give it the space command. Just, yeah, this is for space. Then you add another ampersand to it. You can see that there's no syntax error. Then you click on OK. So you can see Owen Ari is a male, John Bradley Lana is a female, William Henry is a male, and so that's how to join two texts or two columns that are text together. So invoke custom column is you have used a custom column before and you want to invoke it in another table. So I actually don't advise this because you used to slow down query because you need to run more than one table to get it done, and you can all use other better features than this. So we're not going to invoke anything. So these are the add column inside of Excel to do what inside of Power BI to do whatever you want to do. Okay, so yeah, so the other thing we also want to clean is, so like for this cabin now, what is happening here is that, I mean, I've come across this kind of data several times. So there's high chance that there's a probability that C123 is the same thing with this. But because the data officer do not want to repeat the same value, left it blank. When he came across another cabin, left it blank. So E46, everything below, excuse me,
46.
everything below, you understand, it's also E46. C103, everything below is C103. You understand? And so on and so forth. So to feed them that, just come to the transform tab, you will see fill. So depending on how you understand the data to be, it can either go up or down. So here we are going to go down. So all this null, replace it with anything that is up.
Yeah.
If this is a null, replace it with what is on top. A6, replace it. So I'm going to click on fill, then I'm going to click on down. So that's how we fix, this particular column. Okay. So I think we are probably cleaning this data, but we have not exhausted everything in Power Query Editor. Based on what we have now, we have cleaned the data to the largest thing. So so you can bring in another data set inside of Power Query Editor. So you just go to home here, click on new source, Excel workbook. So this time around, we are going to bring in another data called GDP data. So this data is for GDP of different countries from 1999 to 2022. Let me open the data in Excel for you to see.
Okay.
So this is the data set in Excel now. You understand? So structure-wise, what do you think is wrong with these data sets?
They just put only the years, not well arranged.
Yeah, not well arranged.
There's
no column headers except for country.
yeah.
Yeah, so this is one column, country. So we are supposed to have just two columns, one year as the year, then the year comes down on column, not on the row wise like this. Then we have another column called GDP values, and those ones should come down, not like this. But in normal data set, this is what we are supposed to have. So we are supposed to have year, then GDP. the value. So for Afghanistan now, this is the year and the value. Year in 1999, this is the value of the GDP in million. In 2006, in USD million, this is the value. 2010, this is the value for Afghanistan. But on the structure wise, this is how it's supposed to be. So you're just supposed to copy, Control C, then I'm going to transpose. So this is just for Afghanistan alone. So instead of the data being wide, it's going to be long. So now, so this is for Afghanistan like this. So then again, we are going to do for Algeria 1999 to 2022 with the corresponding GDP value. We are going to do for Albania like that. So it's going to be so all the countries are 180. So it's going to be 180 multiplied by 23. That is 1999 to 2022 is 23 years. So the goal at the end of the day is going to be 180 multiplied by 23. That's around 4,000 plus. So we are going to have just these three columns. You understand? So that is how we are going to, that's the only way we can do any kind of analysis with this data. This is GDP data. So you're going to select this. So you can see that this is the data set. So you click on OK. So you can see that even Power BI did not recognize the columns. So this is the data set now, right? So you can see that you just give them dummy column headers because it can't identify them as a weak column. Understand? So I recall that this part, there's like 2 or 3 questions came from this particular data cleaning that we wanted to do now. And that's my exam in January. Understand? So they just tell you have this data set. So what are the steps that you must take in a particular order to make it a structured and well-formatted data set? Yeah, that's the question. So the first thing you want to do is to first promote the row as column headers so that at least one of the column will have a good or a normal header. So you are taking the first row up. Okay, so to do that, you just come to the transform here. You see a button here called use first row as headers. So I'm going to click on that. So it takes it up. So don't forget too, before I spoon for, so everything that we did inside of this Titanic is being applied, is being recorded here. So if you miss anything, you can always undo it, or you can see what you have done so far. You understand? So I just think I should let you know that. So let's go back to this. So I've just promoted my first row as the column header. That's the first thing you want to do. The second thing is that you are going to go to the ribbon and click on the unpivot column. So you are unpivoting other column on the unpivot tab. So this data is already pivoted. So you are going to unpivot other column. So you'll have selected the column that has an accurate or a proper header, which is country. So if I click on this now, this is what happens. So it unpivots everything on the country. So you can now see that Afghanistan to 2022 and the respective value. Albania 1999 to 2022 and the respective GDP value, and so on and so forth for the 180 countries. So if I click on count rows, it's now 4,140 from 180. So let me undo that. So it is from here now. So once we have unpivot the column, that's the second step, right? So the third step is that it must change the column header so that it give it attributes. So it must give it a name. So of course it's going to be the year. Just double click and type year. So you can change the, maybe you can say okay, GDP values also. GDP values. So understand? So now, the last thing is that based on the data type I always say, so you can see this year is not a text data type. ABC signified text. 1.2 is decimal. 1, 2, 3 is whole number. So you must know the actual data type. So the implication of this is that if you don't format it with the right data type, you won't be able to do time series analysis. Say you want to see the GDP of Nigeria from 1999 to 2022. Did it go up, come down, at what point it goes up, go down? Or any other country, or you want to do a comparison between two or more countries and to see which one is progressing from one period to the other. Because Power BI will treat this column as a text. And the requirement to do a time series or a trend analysis is that you need a date column on the x-axis. So this is your y-axis and this is your x-axis. So the y-axis will now be your GDP values and the x-axis will be your year or your dates. Year is part of date anyway. So now I'm going to come here, then I'm going to change it to dates. So you now have this information as dates. So the thing can now flow from one year to the other. So with this now, you are good. Okay, so you can now click on close and apply. So whatever it is that you have done inside of Power Query Editor, don't forget to always click on close and apply. So there are other things that I want to do, but I think we should pause a bit so that we don't have information overload. You understand? Yeah, we don't have information. So the others are not so much. So maybe we can continue in our next class. You understand? So don't forget to do a close and apply. If you are done with whatever you want to do, we are still going to come back to this. You understand? But let's save this one. So I'm going to do a close and apply here. So it will save all the things that you have done, then apply it and all of that. So you can now say you want to start building your visual, doing your analysis and all of that.